Welcome back, guys, to Ruben Tech. Today we are talking about the aftermath of all the excitement with my covered calls and being assigned for the first time on Meta, a position that I wished to remain long on. So now we got to talk about the stupid things I did because I do want to remain long on it, and some of the golden rules that I broke with covered calls. And we'll also talk about if a loss is really a loss with covered calls. And we will go through basically what happened with being assigned in case you've never been assigned before. So, all that and more. First of all, let's just talk about the history of what happened. So, I bought 3 covered calls under 2 different accounts. Neither here or there. I have been using Robinhood. I am new to Robinhood. They had a 3% bonus for transferring money in from an IRA. And so I decided to transfer a little bit in. I was very cautious because online I heard terrible things about Robinhood, but it's been great so far. And I got my 3%. It was like, I think it was over 6 G's or something. So, and I've been enjoying the app greatly. Now I don't have an affiliate link, but that's just my word. I'm not affiliated or anything. I don't have any ads or anything like that. So take it or leave it. I'm not recommending or not. I'm not a fiduciary. Do your own research. So I had 200 shares of it were in a retirement account, and 100 shares were just in a cash account at Charles Schwab. This does make a difference, and I'm going to explain why. Now, in the last video, I thought I had made the cover calls in the Robinhood earlier in the week, but it turned out I had made cover calls earlier in the week, and I had sold them and repurchased. Repurchased the same day I bought them in Schwab, but I bought them in Schwab at a later time. Okay, so that is the background of that. Let's look at the Meta covered calls because those are the ones that got assigned. I bought out of the Schwab ones, and I will explain that too. So the date on the Meta calls was 10/02 that I purchased them. Okay, the price that I purchased them at was 573.20. So Meta was at 573.20 when I bought them. The option strike was for 585, so that's roughly $12 upside. To get to it, the premium was $2.03, so my break even would be 587.03. And so that's the basics of what the thing was. Now on Friday, the call was flirting right near, okay, the 585 price, okay. And Friday morning it was actually underneath, and I was in the money in this call. In the money means that I could have sold this contract and still not be at a loss. And I chose not to. Okay, I chose to write it out. And so that right there was my first mistake. One golden rule about options is that you should always try to close out of them. I've heard this online many times, and I broke that rule. Okay, and I usually close out of mine. I don't ever try to let them run. But for some reason, I just had a feeling, like if you go to a casino and you have a feeling, and I paid for it, just like if I was to go to a casino. Maybe you're lucky when you go to a casino, but I'm not. And like all my feelings at a casino, I got my hopes and dreams crushed because Meta just went straight up after I had my feeling that it would go down. So I went from, making a few dollars, which I could have made a few dollars. I've been very happy to an unfortunate situation, which I will cover. Now, just so you know, on the Charles Schwab, I did indeed close out of that one. Now, that was at a small loss because I bought that later in the day, so the premium was not quite as high. It was a very tiny loss when I was fine to take. I think it was like only 69 bucks. And you might say, why did you close out of that one? Well, that one, if I ever had to get a sign on that, I would have to pay taxes, okay? Because that is a cash account. Since this is an IRA, I can do these kind of trades. They don't get taxed. You get taxed when you start withdrawing. I'm not withdrawing money. I'm not that age yet. And so yeah, I can do stuff like this, and it doesn't matter as much. But at least I think I'm not a tax accountant or anything. So remember, I am not a fiduciary. When I say this stuff, it's not like I know 100%, but I'm pretty sure that that's how it operates. But I do know that in a cash account, you do get taxed. I know that 100% because I've been taxed. And so I definitely would never want to be assigned on that. So I bought back the contract for a loss, small loss. Now over here, we're going to talk about what happened. Okay, so I got assigned on my thing, and it's kind of disheartening, right? I had 245 shares of Meta in this particular Robinhood, and all of a sudden it went down to 45, and sure, you get $117,000, but it's like, I don't want the money. I want the shares of Meta, okay? And especially since the shares of Meta were worth more than $117,000. But anyways, let's talk about if I incurred a true loss. It depends on how you look at loss. Because when I was doing this, imagine that some people, the smart guys, I guess you would say, who really know what they're doing, they say, when I go into this, I look at this as my exit strategy and I don't worry about anything else. Well, if that was the case, if I said, you know what, I am 100% fine with 587.03, whatever happens after that, it doesn't matter. It's like if I legitimately sold the stock one day and it happened to go up afterwards, right? Well, if I had that mindset, then I made $2,766 on this trade, okay? Because this was the purchase price. So the gain from start is the strike price, right? Where's the strike price? Option strike price, 585 minus Meta price at purchase, 573 plus the premium, 203. Times 2 contracts times 100 shares per contract. So I made $2,766 on this trade. But so you could say, if you're that kind of person, you're like, hey, whatever happens afterwards doesn't matter. If you got that kind of mental state, then you're probably got a lot more money than me, and your life is probably much smoother than mine, because I'm a roller coaster of emotion, because I always think of what could have been. So kudos to you, and you're not gonna learn anything much on my channel. You'll probably learn the bad stuff. So just kidding. But anyways, but in my head, what did I incur? I incurred what I would call opportunity loss. Because if I had just held on to the shares of Meta, okay, if I did not sell the covered call, right? The Meta price right now is $595.53, at least when I checked a few minutes ago. Minus the break-even price, $587.03, right? So this is what I made on it. You got to times that by 2 contracts times $100 per share. So my opportunity cost loss was $2,106. Oh, which doesn't sound right, actually. No, that's not right. G2 595 minus C2. Oh, no, it's not minus C2. Sorry, that's wrong. It's minus break even. It's minus E2. Okay, yeah, it's a little bit less. Sorry about that. A little bit less. So Meta price now, G2. This is the formula in Google Sheets. Minus E2, break even. If I was going to do this, I'd also have to minus this. This is the break even. So 595.53 minus 587.03, which is $8.50. Times 2, $17 times 100 shares, $1,700. That actually figures. I can figure that in my head. So this is my opportunity loss. Okay. So if I just held on to Meta, this is what my account would read. This would read whatever it is right now plus 1,700. Now stocks sometimes trade sideways, right? So we don't know that would stay. So here's the thing. The rules I broke here is this. Don't sell covered calls on stocks you want to hold. In other words, if you cannot emotionally, mentally, if you're not adult enough to handle getting assigned, then don't sell covered calls on those stocks. That said, I will probably do this again. I like the money you get from covered calls, and I often make the same mistake more than once, unfortunately, in life. But I've heard that on YouTube and from other people who probably know more than I do. So that's what I would highly recommend to do, is that if you can't handle it, it does cause emotional pain. I can tell you that. I can attest to it. Even though I made $2,766, it still bugged me a lot. I don't know why. It just really bothered me losing those shares. So If you can't handle that, then don't sell a covered call. The next thing is, if you are going to sell a covered call and you can't handle what's called an opportunity loss, right? So here I had an opportunity loss. I didn't actually have a paper loss. Like, technically, you can't lose money on a covered call. No matter what, I'm going to start higher than when I began, right? But I can't help but consider what it could have even been higher. And so that's the opportunity loss. And if you're like me and you're going to think about that, it's going to drive you nuts, then you probably shouldn't do a covered call, right? So those would be kind of two things I would say about that. Now, the third thing is that you should never do, you should never chase your losses. I know that from everything in life. Everything, gambling, market, whatever. But of course, I'm going to try to chase my losses here. There is a way that I can try to get some money back, and that would be to, one, see, I'm not a fiduciary. This is all for entertainment purposes. I'm just here doing things. I just want to make that sure that you guys really understand that. I know there's people say that or whatever, but I just want to make sure you know that. Don't copy anything I do. The $1,700 is driving me nuts, and the fact that I lost to 200 shares is driving me nuts. And it's kind of like the fact that, I don't have those shares. They could continue to go up. What if Meta continues on a crazy rise? Then I'm going to lose out on all that. So the first thing I do is I got to get back those shares, okay? But this might be a blessing in disguise, because I could, instead of buying, like, Meta occupies a lot of money just as long shares. So what if I bought a really long, deep in the money call? So what if I went to like January 16, 2026, this is, 15 months out, and I bought something for like, Meta's basically at $5.95, so it'd be, 100 shares would be 59,500. The 200 shares would be 118 or whatever, 119. But look at this. I could buy right here. I don't like that strike price. Maybe this is too far out. This is a little better. Maybe this is a little better. 600. Break even 707. I want to break even that's really close, so I'm not losing too much. So right here. Look at this. That's a little expensive too. Maybe a little further. Let's just say a year. What if you go a year out? Look at this. This isn't bad. Okay. So break even on this is $613.03. This costs $300.10. So essentially, I could buy two contracts of this for basically for the price of 100 shares of Meta. And so those contracts would represent 200 shares of Meta, and I would be missing out on $18 of upside. Now, the delta on this is 0.9580. So that means for every dollar that the stock moves, I'm going to be basically getting dollar for dollar. And it also means that, the odds of this not finishing into money, obviously, Meta is not going to, it could go down to 300, but it's not very likely. And if it did, and I had 200 shares anyways, I would get wiped out. Not wiped out, but I would lose a lot. Here, my max loss would be $60,000. If I had 200 shares, I think my max loss would be roughly the same, because it's about half the price. Yeah, it'd be close. So I'm not catching all of the upside, but I'm getting close, right? But the main thing is I'm freeing up like $57,000. And so then what could I do? Then what I could do, because I have these, if I was to buy those, because these are so long and deep into money, I can actually sell a put on Meta, a cash secured put, or actually, sorry, I could sell a call. I could sell a put just with the money. So I could sell a put with the money. And with the money I have remaining, actually wouldn't be quite enough, but I have enough in there to cover it anyway, so it doesn't matter. I could sell a put. No, I don't want it that far out. I'd sell a put right away. Like I want to buy it. So let's say I sold a put this week. $5.95, and look at this, $8.20. And so my break even here is $5.86.70. So when did I essentially have sold at $5.87.03, and I'd be buying back at $5.86.70. So now you look at this, right? And this would say like, the idea is that if it went below $5.86.03, I'd be losing money. $5.86.70, I would be losing money, but really I wouldn't be, because I want those shares anyways. Okay, I want to build back my position, right? And I sold it at essentially $5.87, so I would essentially be getting back. I'd be getting a little bit of a discount on what I had, even if Meta dropped, because then I want to be taking a whole drop if I held. So this might be something I could do. And then if Meta does go up, my long covered calls will cover. They will catch that, rise up, and I'll still get money from this. So I'll get $820 from this, which will help cover this. I mean, it's not covering it all the way. So to sell this, to sell a cash secure put, I need to have the money. They take the money and put it aside. So I have to have 600 times 100. I had to have like $60,000 available. Now I don't have enough. If I buy those calls, sell 2 of these. I do if I don't buy the calls, but then I don't. So here's the thing: if I buy 2 of these, I have the money to buy to sell 2 of these. If I don't buy the long and deep into money calls, I could sell 2 of these. But that would be what? That would be a lot. $120,000 roughly. No, $586.70. I'm buying it at. Sorry. So that times 2 times 100. It's like, what is that? 58. Like 116.40. 117.40. $117,040. $117,400 I'd had to have. Okay. $117,400 I've had to have to get 2 of these. Sell 2 of these. That's what I had to have up front, which I have. And then I would get $16.40. I have that now because I sold those 200 shares of Meta, which I didn't want to sell. So you understand what I'm trying to do here? I'm trying to figure out how I can chase my losses without hopefully losing more. Don't do this. So I would make $1,640, which almost covers my opportunity loss here. And then if it went below this, then I don't care, because I get Meta for what I want. That's what I wanted it at. If it finishes above, oh no, it's not above. It's not below this. If it's here. So if it's here, oh yeah, it's $5.95. Okay, I get it. So yeah, I was like, this is too good. This doesn't make sense. Now it does. Okay. Yes, $5.95 is what I got purchased at. So sorry, I need to have $119,000 is what I need to have. $119,000. Now I'm gonna get money from this, so I can actually have less. But this is what I need to purchase. Just forget about this break even. Okay. So then if it drops down to this, yeah. So I'm still going to do okay. I'm going to lose all of this. But then I lose all of this because I bought it at this. And my difference is that. Yes. So this would be an ideal situation, actually. This call would be great. So you could say I could sell 2 of these, and I would almost be really not missing out on anything if it went under 595. But the problem with this is if Meta continues to go up. If Meta goes up to 605, I get to keep all this premium, which kind of is almost equal to this. But then I'm going to mix the next upside. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to miss the money I would have made on that. Oh, that'll drive me nuts. So you could say, so that's why I think I should buy a call that's deep in the money. Deep in the money call. Sorry, I'm doing this live with you guys right now. I didn't think this out beforehand. I buy a call deep in the money. Buy two of them. Right, this one. It's a good price. $300. $60,000. Excuse me, $60,000 I need. So what am I losing? I'm losing $18.03 on the upside right now. A little bit less than that, sorry, because it's like at $5.95, $50 or something. And this might go down a little bit too, but anyways, that's roughly. And 60,000 and moves 1 to 1. Then I sell one of these. So now what's the downside with this? The downside is if Meta does drop, these are going to take a hit, of course. I sell one put. I'll be exposed to 300 shares of Meta when I only wanted to be exposed to 200. I already have a pretty large stake in Meta. But I wouldn't mind having another 100 shares essentially. I can't see a real downside to this one. Because if it goes up, so essentially the downside is that I'm out on 613. I'm out on $18 of upside here, which is a lot for 200 shares. That's $3,600. If it goes down, this goes down. I would already have the shares though. But it's amplified. Yes, my losses are amplified if it goes down compared to just selling 2 cash secured puts. Okay. Even if I owned 2. That's correct. Okay. So if I own 200 shares of Meta, $5.95. Okay, I got it. If I own 200 shares of Meta, $5.95, it goes down to $5.85. That's $2,000 in losses I get. Now this is moving essentially because the delta is 0.95, 1 to 1. So if this goes down, but it goes to $5.85, this is going to roughly lose, these contracts will roughly lose $2,000 in value, right? And then I will be able to buy back my thing. Correct. So I buy it 100 shares. But I'm out the 100 shares. I'm out half of this, $850. Yes. So really, is that the only thing that can happen? I'd be out $850. Because if I had 200 shares, it's going to go down no matter what anyways. I might have to investigate this more. Maybe I'll let you know if I set this up. But yeah, that's not a bad idea. So again, the thing that's easy, the thing that would be easy to do is just to sell 2 puts, right? I have the money, sell them here, sell them at $5.95, and hope that Meta goes sideways a little bit. Had a big rise, and now they'll come and go sideways a little bit. If it did, I'm basically at even by the end of the week, and I have my shares back. Okay. Great situation. Yeah, I would be perfectly happy with that. Now, would be great. The other way, so the problem with this is I miss upside. And then if I miss upside, then I end up having to kind of, I'll have to come in the next week, do the same thing, it could stink. Yeah, okay. So I'm not going to sit here and bore you guys with these details. But anyways, that's what I got for you. Hopefully all of this makes some sense, what I talked about. So I got assigned for covered calls. Not the best feeling, but I am going to do a strategy tomorrow. I'm going to try to make up those losses. So maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should just buy 200 shares. Right? Just buy them back and say, hey, you know what? I lost $1,700. That is what it is. But Meta's a great stock. I want to be in it for the next 10 years. I think they're going to dominate in VR, and that's that. And I'm not going to sell covered calls anymore. But that probably isn't going to happen. And to be honest, I've been making some decent money on covered calls. Now, also to be honest, this was a big hit to that making, because you don't make that much on the covered calls I sell, because I usually sell them well out of the money. So I'm making like $400, a week. But this is $1,700, so it's like $400, 4 weeks. But anyways, neither here or there. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.